Part A. Extract 1. Questions 1 to 12. You hear a GP talking to a patient called Mihira. You now have 30 seconds to look at the notes.
Good morning, Mihira. What brings you in?
Good morning, Dr. Wright. I'm not really sure where to start. I've just been feeling off lately. Like, I'm eating a lot more than I normally do. And it's not just normal, it's like I can't stop once I start, you know?
You've been eating more. Can you explain a bit more?
Well, it's both, actually. I mean, I'm having larger meals, but it's mostly that I'm having constantly throughout the day. It's really strange because I never used to eat like this. I don't even feel that hungry most of the time, but I just eat. It's almost like I can't help it.
I see. And when did this start happening? Has there been any specific trigger or event that you think might have caused it?
Well, it's hard to say. Maybe about 2 or 3 months ago. At first, I didn't really notice anything out of the ordinary, but it's gotten worse lately. I just find myself snacking even when I'm full. Like last night, I had dinner, I felt full, but then an hour later, I was eating again. I don't know if it's stress or something. I've had a lot going on.
That does sound concerning. And apart from eating more, have you noticed any other symptoms, maybe changes in weight, digestion, mood, or anything unusual?
Oh yes, I've definitely gained weight. I'm always feeling bloated, and sometimes I have this discomfort in my stomach. I also feel sluggish, like I'm tired all the time, but it's a different kind of tired, you know? Doctor, I've been feeling quite down lately. I thought it was just stress, but sometimes I wonder if it's more than that. But then again, maybe it's just because I'm constantly overeating. And one more thing, it's like mentally, I just don't have energy. But physically, I'm also fatigued.
So you're experiencing physical symptoms, along with changes in your mood, which could indicate something more. And no significant changes in your routine recently?
Well, I mean, my work is always stressful, but nothing unusual. And my sleep, that's been bad too. I either can't fall asleep, or I wake up in the middle of the night, thinking about random things. It's like my mind won't shut off, you know? But yeah, my lifestyle hasn't really changed much.
Okay, I see. Now Mihira, just to clarify, is there any particular time of day when these symptoms are worse?
I think it's worse in the evening, especially after work. I think I just feel more, I don't know, unsettled in the evening. That's when I really crave food, even though I know I shouldn't be eating so much. But during the day, I'm still snacking here and there.
It sounds like there could be some emotional aspects to this, maybe emotional eating. That's when people tend to eat not because they're physically hungry but because of their stress, boredom, or sadness. Have you ever considered that?
I've thought about it, but I don't know. I mean, maybe. But the thing is, I don't always feel anything when I'm eating, or maybe I do, and I just don't realize it. I'm not sure.
That's understandable. These things aren't always obvious. Have you tried anything to manage it yourself? Any treatments or remedies at home?
Oh yes. I've tried a bunch of things. I've tried eating smaller meals, but it just doesn't work. I still feel the need to snack. I've also tried drinking more water to feel full, but that hasn't helped either. I even tried some mixed fruit juice that is supposed to reduce appetite, but honestly, nothing seems to make a difference. I'm still doing it, even when I tell myself not to.
It sounds like you've already tried quite a few strategies without much success. And what about your family? Is there any family history of similar issues, whether with eating, emotional health, or anything like that?
Well, actually, now that you mention it, my mother always struggled with her weight, and she did have some issues with binge eating. But I don't think she ever really got any help for it. She just kind of dealt with it on her own.
That's good to know. Family history can sometimes give us clues. Given your symptoms and what you've tried, I think we might need to look at this more holistically. For now, I'd like to refer you to a psychiatrist who specializes in behavioral therapy. They might be able to help you address the underlying triggers. Would you be open to that?
Okay, I guess I could give that a try. Is there anything else I should be doing in the meantime?
Well, aside from therapy, I'd recommend keeping a food diary for now. It could help us, and you, see if there's a pattern.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, doctor.
You're very welcome, Mihira.
Extract 2. Questions 13 to 24. You hear a physiotherapist talking to a patient called Mihira. You now have 30 seconds to look at the notes.
Good morning, Mihira. How are you feeling today? What brings you in?
Good morning, William. Well, I'm not really sure where to begin. It's my knee. My right knee, specifically. I've been having this discomfort for a while now, and I'm concerned it might be something more serious than just a sprain or something like that.
Okay, I see. Can you tell me a bit more about this discomfort?
Sure. So, I first noticed it about, maybe 5 or 6 months ago. It wasn't too bad initially, just this dull ache after I'd go for my evening walks. I didn't think much of it, but then the pain became more persistent.
That must be frustrating, Mihira. Have you noticed any swelling or stiffness, maybe in the mornings or after periods of inactivity?
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely some swelling, especially if I've been on my feet for a long time. But what really worries me is the stiffness. It's like after I sit for an hour or so, my knee locks up. And when I try to straighten it, there's this grinding sensation, almost like something's stuck in there. Sometimes I even hear this popping sound when I try to move it. It's been progressively getting worse, I think. At first, I thought it might be just normal wear and tear, but now I'm not so sure.
Those could be signs of some underlying joint or ligament issue. Have you had any recent injuries?
No, not really. I mean, I don't recall any specific injury. But, when I was younger, I did a lot of running and sports, so maybe that's catching up to me now. Oh, and I've also noticed that my knee looks a bit misaligned. I don't know if that's relevant, but when I stand, my knee kind of points inward. It's not straight, which is strange because I never noticed that before.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Mihira. From what you're describing, it sounds like there could be a case of genu valgum. It's when the knees angle in and touch each other when the legs are straightened. That might explain the misalignment and the additional pressure on your knee joint.
Oh, I've never heard of that before.
May I ask about your current weight and height? Sometimes excess pressure on the knee due to weight can make these symptoms worse.
Yes, of course. I'm around 78 kilograms, and I'm 162 centimeters tall.
All right. Have you tried any treatments?
Yes, actually. I've tried a few things. I've been using non-prescription anti-inflammatory medications, but they don't seem to help much. I've also been using ice packs after long walks, but the relief is temporary at best. A friend recommended some knee braces, so I've been wearing those, but honestly, they're not very comfortable, and I'm not sure they're doing much to help.
So it sounds like you've tried several conservative treatments without much relief. Have you done any physical therapy or specific exercises?
Well, no. I mean, I've tried some light stretches on my own, but nothing too intense.
I understand, Mihira, but in cases like yours, strengthening the muscles, especially around the quadriceps and hamstrings, is crucial. It helps support the knee joint and can relieve some of that instability you've been feeling. I'd also recommend some low-impact activities to avoid stressing the joint further. Let's focus on a combination of targeted physiotherapy exercises, and if needed, I might refer you for further imaging to assess the joint more clearly. We can also look into some custom orthotics to help correct the alignment while walking. If, after a few months, there's no improvement, or if your condition worsens, we can discuss other options like surgery. But for now, let's focus on the non-invasive treatments. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes, thank you for explaining that.
I'm optimistic we can improve your symptoms, Mihira.
That is the end of Part A. Now look at Part B. Part B. In this part of the test, you'll hear 6 different extracts. You'll have time to read each question before you listen. Now look at question 25. You hear a nurse called Mihira talking to a patient. Now read the question.
Good morning. Are you ready for your flu shot? Let me quickly confirm a few details first. You're here for the seasonal flu vaccine, not the pneumonia shot, correct?
Yes, Mihira, the flu shot. I had the pneumonia one last year, so it's not due for a while.
Exactly. Now, I see you're allergic to penicillin. Have you had any reactions to vaccines in the past? Some people confuse flu shot side effects like mild soreness with allergic reactions.
No allergies to vaccines. Just the penicillin thing, but the flu shot's always been fine.
Great. And you're not feeling sick today, right? It's important that you're not running a fever.
No fever, but I do have a bit of a cold. Is that an issue, Mihira?
If it's just a mild cold without a fever, that's not a problem. The concern is when a patient has a higher fever, which could make the shot less effective. Okay, just relax your arm. This will be quick.
Now look at question 26. You hear a doctor called Mihira discussing with a patient. Now read the question.
So, let's talk about your injury. You mentioned pain in your right ankle, but I see here that last month you had a similar issue with your left ankle. Is that correct?
Yes, Dr. Mihira, but this time it's the right one. The left one is better now after the physical therapy.
Good to hear the therapy helped. Now, was this current injury caused the same way? You had mentioned a fall before, but here it says you were playing basketball this time.
Right, last time I slipped in the shower. This time I twisted it while playing basketball. It wasn't as bad as before though.
Got it. Since you're not experiencing any swelling like last time and your range of motion is better, we might not need to go through the same level of intensive therapy.
That's a relief, Dr. Mihira. So, no crutches this time.
Exactly, just some rest, ice, and a lighter therapy plan. We'll still monitor it closely, though, especially because of your history of ankle issues. If there's any sign of the pain increasing, we'll reevaluate.
Now look at question 27. You hear an ED nurse called Mihira talking to a patient's relative. Now read the question.
I understand you're concerned about your brother's condition. He was brought in with chest pain, but we're still waiting on the results of the EKG and blood tests to determine if it's a heart attack or something less severe like angina.
So, it might not be a heart attack. That's a relief. He's had chest pain before, but it wasn't this bad, Mihira.
It's hard to say right now. Chest pain can come from different causes, anything from a strained muscle to a panic attack, but we don't want to assume. We're monitoring him closely. He's stable, though, and his vitals are holding steady.
Stable sounds good, but the doctors haven't ruled out a heart attack yet, right?
Correct. We'll know more when the blood results come in. They're checking for cardiac enzymes, which will give us a clearer picture. Even if it's not a heart attack, we still need to keep a close watch for complications.
So Mihira, even if it's not a heart attack, it could still be serious.
Yes, but right now, his condition is under control. We'll keep you updated as soon as we know more.
Now look at question 28. You hear an occupational therapist called Mihira talking to a doctor. Now read the question.
Good morning, Dr. Paul. I wanted to discuss our patient, Mrs. Thompson. She's been struggling with her fine motor skills since her stroke last month.
Yes, Mihira, I noticed that during her last assessment. Have you considered how her left hemiparesis might impact her daily activities?
Absolutely. It's affecting her ability to grip utensils, but I'm also concerned about her cognitive function. Sometimes she confuses her left and right sides, which complicates her therapy.
Right, and her vision issues could contribute as well. Do you think we should focus more on her mobility or her cognitive retraining?
I believe a dual approach is essential. While improving her mobility is vital, addressing her cognitive confusion will help her regain confidence in using her affected hand. If we can work on both simultaneously, she may respond better overall.
That makes sense, Mihira. Let's schedule her for therapy sessions that incorporate both aspects. Would you suggest a specific frequency for these sessions?
I recommend twice a week initially, with the potential for more frequent sessions as she progresses.
Now look at question 29. You hear a surgeon called Mihira talking to the team. Now read the question.
Good morning, team. As we prepare for today's surgery on Mr. Anderson, I want to ensure we're all aligned on the procedure and potential complications. This is a complex case with a history of both diabetes and hypertension.
Right, Mihira, and given his elevated blood pressure readings, we need to monitor his vitals closely throughout the procedure.
Exactly. But I'm also concerned about his diabetes. It could affect his wound healing post-surgery. We need to discuss our approach to managing his blood glucose levels during the operation.
Should we consider administering insulin before the surgery, or would that interfere with the anesthesia?
That's a great question, James. Administering short-acting insulin before we start might actually stabilize his levels, but we'll have to time it carefully with the anesthesiologist.
And what about the risk of infection? Should we increase our antibiotic prophylaxis, Mihira?
Yes, given his diabetes, we should certainly consider that as part of our preoperative protocol. Let's ensure we have the correct dosage ready.
Now look at question 30. You hear a physician called Mihira talking to a pharmacist. Now read the question.
Hi, Sarah. I wanted to discuss a few prescriptions for our patient, Mr. Lopez. He's currently on atorvastatin and lisinopril, but I noticed his cholesterol levels haven't improved as we expected.
Yes, Mihira, I've seen his profile. Are you thinking about switching the atorvastatin? Or perhaps adjusting the dosage?
I'm considering an increase in the atorvastatin dose, but I'm also worried about possible interactions. He's been complaining about muscle pain, which could suggest statin-related myopathy.
That's a valid concern. However, he might also be experiencing side effects from the lisinopril, especially since he's reported a persistent cough.
Right, that's another issue to tackle. If we switch him to an alternative antihypertensive, such as losartan, it might alleviate the cough.
That could help. So Mihira, are we planning to manage both the cholesterol and the hypertension in tandem?
Absolutely. It's crucial to monitor his response closely after making these adjustments to ensure we address both issues effectively.
That is the end of Part B. Now look at Part C. Part C. Extract 1. Questions 31 to 36. You now have 90 seconds to read questions 31 to 36. You hear the conversation between a doctor, Dr. Mihira, and an interviewer.
Good morning, Dr. Mihira. Thank you for joining us today to discuss your work in public health, particularly in managing communicable diseases. To begin, could you give us a brief overview of your role and responsibilities in this field?
Thank you for having me. As a public health specialist, my primary responsibility is to protect and promote the health of communities by managing and mitigating the spread of communicable diseases. This involves working closely with healthcare institutions, government bodies, and other stakeholders to develop strategies that minimize outbreaks and promote long-term public health. My role also includes policy formation, overseeing surveillance programs, and ensuring that the public is well informed about health risks and prevention measures.
That sounds like an enormous responsibility, especially with the ever-evolving nature of diseases. How do you manage to handle such a demanding and responsible job without being overwhelmed?
I won't deny that it's demanding. However, managing this responsibility requires a combination of scientific rigor, collaborative teamwork, and maintaining a systems-thinking approach. It's crucial to break down tasks into manageable sections and trust the people I work with. One has to delegate responsibilities effectively while maintaining oversight. I also rely on data-driven decision-making. The trends and statistics help in prioritizing actions. This way, I don't approach my role emotionally, but rather with an analytical mindset. I think the real key is to be adaptable. Communicable diseases are unpredictable by nature, and the strategies that work today might not be as effective tomorrow.
I imagine adaptability must be essential, especially in a crisis. What resources do you and your department utilize to stay ahead of the curve when dealing with such situations?
Indeed, adaptability is essential, and having the right resources is fundamental to staying ahead. Our primary resource is epidemiological data, which comes from both local surveillance systems and global monitoring networks such as the WHO. Access to real-time data allows us to predict potential outbreaks and take preemptive measures. Moreover, we leverage modern technological tools like data analytics software, AI-driven prediction models, and geographic information systems, GIS, to track disease patterns. Alongside these, there are human resources, epidemiologists, healthcare workers, data scientists, and communicators. Each of these teams plays an integral part in ensuring we have the insights, capacity, and communication necessary to respond efficiently.
With so many variables and teams involved, how do you ensure that each task is effectively executed and that the outcomes are as expected?
It's all about systems and processes. We have a well-structured operational framework where every task is mapped out against specific objectives. For instance, when we're monitoring a disease, every step, from data collection to analysis and public dissemination, is carefully planned and executed by specialized teams. Regular assessments, feedback loops, and audits are conducted to ensure every aspect of the process is functioning correctly. I also emphasize the importance of transparency and accountability. Everyone involved in the operation knows exactly what they're responsible for and how their performance will be measured. Communication within the team is vital, and we hold frequent debriefs to ensure alignment.
Public health management, particularly in controlling communicable diseases, often requires collaboration with multiple sectors. How do you and your department work with government and non-governmental organizations to achieve public health goals?
Collaboration is the cornerstone of effective public health management. The scope of communicable diseases extends beyond healthcare, impacting sectors like education, economy, and infrastructure. We work closely with various ministries, health, education, labor, and even defense during emergencies. In addition, NGOs often serve as invaluable partners, particularly in community outreach and education. We hold joint task forces, participate in multi-sectoral meetings, and create shared action plans. Our approach is to align each stakeholder's capabilities and strengths towards common goals, making sure the response is cohesive. However, collaboration goes beyond mere coordination. It requires trust, consistent communication, and the sharing of data and resources in real time.
Given the experiences with recent global pandemics, how prepared is your department to handle large-scale outbreaks or health crises?
Preparedness is something we continuously work on. Post-COVID, public health systems have undergone major reforms, particularly in terms of readiness for large-scale pandemics. We've improved our early detection mechanisms, ensuring quicker response times by integrating more advanced predictive models. Our stockpiles of necessary medical supplies, including vaccines, PPE, and testing kits, are regularly updated. But it's not just about stockpiling resources. We also focus on enhancing the capacity of healthcare workers and emergency responders through regular training exercises. Pandemic preparedness requires a multi-layered approach, combining surveillance, rapid response, healthcare infrastructure, and public education. We've also learned the importance of flexibility. Protocols must be adaptable because no two crises are ever the same.
Now look at Extract 2. Questions 37 to 42. You hear a pharmacist, Noel Rome, talking about his role in patient care at Mihira Multispeciality Hospital. You now have 90 seconds to read questions 37 to 42.
Good morning, esteemed colleagues and healthcare professionals. It is both a privilege and a responsibility to address you today on a topic that resonates deeply with us, caring for those who care for others. At Mihira Multi-Speciality Hospital, we believe that the well-being of our healthcare workers is the cornerstone of the services we offer. As healthcare providers, we often focus so intently on our patients' needs that we neglect our own. Mihira has recognized this, and through our comprehensive healthcare worker welfare program, we aim to offer meaningful and lasting support to those at the forefront of patient care. Mihira Multi-Speciality Hospital is a renowned institution, celebrated for its multidisciplinary approach to medicine, which integrates clinical expertise with cutting-edge technology. We don't simply pride ourselves on the advanced medical care we provide, but also on the holistic approach we take in fostering an environment that supports growth and innovation. From our highly specialized departments like cardiology, oncology, and neurology to our advanced diagnostic capabilities, Mihira is built on the pillars of expertise, compassion, and holistic care. Yet, what truly sets Mihira apart from other hospitals is not just the caliber of care we provide to patients, but the dedicated commitment to the welfare of our healthcare workers. This is a value ingrained in the very fabric of Mihira's ethos. We recognize that the well-being of our employees directly translates into the quality of care we provide. Mihira Multi-Speciality Hospital has instituted a unique and comprehensive healthcare workers' welfare program that emphasizes both physical and mental well-being. This initiative is based on our understanding that healthcare professionals operate in high-stress environments where burnout, mental fatigue, and physical strain are not uncommon. Our welfare program, therefore, addresses not only immediate physical health needs, such as injury prevention and ergonomic support, but also long-term psychological resilience through stress management workshops and counseling services. One of the unique features of the program at Mihira is its multi-tiered approach, which addresses different aspects of employee well-being, physical health, emotional health, career development, and work-life balance. For instance, we offer subsidized memberships to fitness centers, periodic medical checkups, and access to on-site health clinics. Additionally, we have also launched a mental health initiative that provides healthcare workers with access to in-house counselors, mental wellness seminars, and even stress relief activities like yoga sessions and mindfulness workshops. The welfare program at Mihira Multi-Speciality Hospital is designed to support our healthcare workers in multiple ways, ensuring their personal and professional lives remain balanced and healthy. One of the key focal points of the program is the emphasis on psychological well-being. Recognizing that healthcare professionals often experience compassion fatigue, burnout, and work-related stress, our program provides access to certified mental health professionals and psychologists, ensuring employees can seek help confidentially. On the physical side, we understand that healthcare jobs are often physically demanding. Therefore, we offer ergonomically designed workspaces and on-site physiotherapy sessions for employees experiencing musculoskeletal strain due to the nature of their jobs. Furthermore, the hospital encourages preventive healthcare measures, offering immunizations and disease screenings at no cost to employees. Career progression and professional development are also integral parts of this welfare program. Mihira hosts continuous learning workshops, allowing staff to upgrade their skills and stay updated on the latest medical advancements. This dual approach of tending to both the body and the mindsets of Mihira's program apart, making it one of the most comprehensive in the region. One of our most successful ongoing initiatives is the Wellness at Work program, which has gained significant traction among our healthcare workers. The program combines physical wellness, mental health resilience, and social bonding activities, all designed to create a more cohesive and supportive work environment. Every month, a thematic wellness event is hosted, incorporating activities like team-building exercises, nature retreats, and mindfulness training. A key element of the Wellness at Work program is our unique partnership with external wellness experts who bring in fresh perspectives on managing work-related stress and improving interpersonal relationships within the hospital. In addition, we have seen increased collaboration and communication among departments, which has enhanced team efficiency and improved overall hospital culture. Employee surveys show that the program has significantly reduced self-reported stress levels and has had a noticeable impact on work performance. The satisfaction of our healthcare workers is something Mihira takes very seriously, and we have an ongoing process to measure and evaluate it. The hospital administers regular surveys and employs various data analytics techniques to gauge the success of our welfare programs. Metrics such as absenteeism rates, employee turnover, and psychological well-being indices are used to assess the effectiveness of our initiatives. Our last survey revealed a high level of satisfaction, with over 85% of participants indicating they felt better supported both professionally and personally through the welfare program. Interestingly, many of the most favorable responses came from staff members who had participated in mental health initiatives and wellness activities. The remaining feedback is actively reviewed, and suggestions are integrated into future program improvements. This transparent, data-driven approach ensures we remain adaptive to the evolving needs of our workforce. Mihira Multi-Speciality Hospital is not one to rest on its laurels. We are continuously working to expand our welfare initiatives to better serve our healthcare workers. In the upcoming year, we plan to introduce a mentorship program that pairs younger healthcare professionals with seasoned staff members, fostering both professional growth and emotional support. In addition, we are looking to introduce teletherapy services for employees, allowing them to access mental health support from the comfort of their homes, given the often unpredictable work schedules. Another upcoming program is our Employee Assistance Program, EAP, which will offer financial counseling services, legal support, and family care services. Recognizing that well-being extends beyond physical and mental health to the challenges we face in our personal lives. Mihira is dedicated to making sure every healthcare worker feels fully supported in all aspects of life, both inside and outside the hospital.
That is the end of your OET listening test. Now check the answers.